Welcome to Money Patterns Decoded. Money is never just about money, it is a pattern. Today we expose one of those hidden patterns, see exactly how it controls your finances, and discover the precise shift that can set you free. Let's begin. Here's a sharp observation. Most of us spend or hoard in ways that make no sense until you realize we're following a rhythm learned before we could even balance a checkbook. I know a client who reflexively hides receipts after every purchase, not because she's ashamed of spending, but because, as a child, receipts meant argument or worry at the kitchen table. That action lives in her body long after the conversation ended. It runs like a groove, and our lives rotate in that groove. I call this the echo inheritance pattern. It produces automatic spending and saving rhythms, sudden guilt after buying, ritualized avoidance of budgets, receipts hidden or worshipped, generosity that arrives in one-off splurges rather than steady giving. The pattern is predictable, and therefore decodable. Let's unpack the first mechanism, the psychological one. Families encode values and threats into the nervous system through repeated scenes. The quiet anxiety when the mail arrives, the way a parent sighs over a bill, the ritual of saving every coin after a loss. These scenes become implicit memory, procedural, nonverbal, automatic. When you encounter money, you don't consult a spreadsheet first. You consult that old loop in your body. Attachment wounds amplify it. If money once meant safety withheld or love contingent, your brain learned a survival choreography. Narratives, the stories we repeat about we don't spend or we must save for shame, act as reinforcement. Each time you follow the script, you strengthen the groove. Now the esoteric mechanism, because lineage isn't only memory, it's also orientation. Stories, rituals, and unspoken contracts carry a frequency. Imagine a waveform passed down the family line, a repeated oscillation of scarcity, fear, pride, or secrecy. In sacred geometry terms, the same pattern repeats like a spiral. The form is preserved even as the details change. Those stories, told and untold, set a tempo in the field around family life. Rituals, how bills were paid, how generosity was shown or withheld, are energetic signatures. They anchor a frequency that nudges choices and opportunities into resonance with the old pattern. Here's a reframe that shifts everything. Think of your personal ledger as an heirloom instrument. Not broken, just tuned to an old song. The wallet, the budget, the habit of saving or spending, there's strings on that instrument. When you recognize this song, retuning becomes practical. You don't need to reject the instrument or the family that taught you its tuning. You simply learn to pluck different notes. Once you hear the new pitch in your body, choices stop feeling like moral failures and start feeling like an experiment in harmony. Now the exact high-impact practice, the 3-minute ledger echo. It's short, repeatable, and measurable. Do this once daily, ideally right after a small financial act, paying a bill, making a purchase, or logging a receipt. Step 1. Receipt acknowledgement. Hold the receipt or open your transaction and say, out loud or in your head, I see this exchange. Simple, factual. Step 2. The micro-clarification phrase. One line that reorients the story. For example, money moves, I move with it. Or, this purchase supports my life, not my old fear. Keep it precise. Step 3. One directed breath and a tiny aligned action. Exhale slowly while placing the receipt somewhere visible, or delete the digital copy if the action was intentional, or add a single line to your budget labeled Today's Alignment. That's it. 3 minutes or less. How to track results. Pick 2 simple metrics for 2 weeks. Metric A, 1 behavioral check. E.g., did you place the receipt differently or mark the budget? Metric B, 1 felt state check. Rate your post-transaction anxiety on a 1 to 10 scale. Track briefly each day. The point is not perfection, it is feedback. If the numbers shift even slightly towards steadiness, the new tuning is taking hold. Repeat the ledger echo daily. Small consistent retunings change the instrument. A brief caution. Working with lineage can surface strong emotions. If a daily practice opens more than you can process, pause that practice and seek trauma-informed support, a therapist, a somatic practitioner, or a trusted accountability partner. Test changes gently. Choose low-stakes transactions to practice the ledger echo before using it on decisions tied to big inherited stories. Accountability matters. Share your 2-week metrics with a friend or coach. Agency comes with support. Recap briefly. The echo inheritance pattern is an ancestral rhythm, psychological grooves, and lineage frequency that shapes automatic money behavior. The 3-minute ledger echo is a precise, repeatable tool to retune your ledger and your nervous system. Try it for 2 weeks with the simple metrics I mentioned, and treat it like an experiment, not a moral test. If you want deeper lineage protocols, exercises, and curated reading to expand this work, explore my complete library at Desmarques.com. Money is a pattern. Awareness is the key. That is the money pattern. That is the mechanism. And that is your shift today. If you're ready to decode the full architecture of your financial life, explore my complete library at Desmarques.com